authentication can get very technical very quickly. People who enjoy it still get a bit of like an ice cream headache when they're trying to figure out issues sometimes. So I would say for the audience, think of authentication in general, sort of like your passport or your driver's license or some other form of ID that tells mailbox providers and recipients exactly who you are, right? It's a way for them to kind of have a little bit more confidence in the fact that the mail is actually coming from you when it says it's you. So it's really important because this is something that builds trust with consumers and with the mailbox providers. So again, both of them are trying to figure out, are you PayPal? You say that you're PayPal. Are you PayPal? Because that would be really bad if you're not PayPal, right? So they're trying to build that trust. And they're also trying to provide protection from spoofing, from phishing, and from basically other bad actors trying to pretend to be you to kind of sort of steal your good sender reputation, your good brand reputation, and then use that to basically get someone to give away their login credentials for their bank or whatever else, right? So the point of authentication really is to limit the ability for bad actors to do that. And they can still do some bad stuff with authentication, even if it's in place, but it makes your domain less of a target because it's just, there's a lot more. Imagine it's like, oh, well, that house is wide open. The front door is open. I'm just going to go steal that stuff versus the one that's next door that's locked up and has a security system, right? So authentication is kind of like that. I would say, in 2022, which we're in, authenticate all of your emails. And if you're using an ESP and Nailmodo, I'm sure is helping you with this, they usually help you with the DKIM and SPF setup. So these are the main two types of authentication that you're going to want to have to worry about. Don't worry too much about what they are or how they work. Talk to your IT team, your security person, your support team at your ESP. If your security team is a little bit kind of like, oh, I'm not really sure what to do with this, because domain alignment is really important as well. So I don't know if any of you have looked at the email headers, right? There's a way for you to kind of dig into all of the background noise that's there. And you'll notice that there's a lot of domains within those email headers, right? There's the actual from address that you're using. There's a from name, there's the domain that you're signing your DKIM with, there's the domain that you're signing your SPF with, there's all these different things. And you want them to look organized and kind of very in line so that when mailbox providers see it, and again, it's not, Steve at the mailbox provider side, it's a filter, it's a computer that's looking at this and trying to say, again, is this legitimate? Okay, well, this is a mess, right? And then they just don't want to deal with it or their system can't handle it. So it's really work with your IT team, work with your ESP, because in some cases there's a little bit of nuance to how you should set up those records. But a lot of those, and like Socket Labs, we have our own DKIM generator tool. So come onto our website, you know exactly what to do. There's a step-by-step kind of tutorial to get you there. So I think that's just don't try to be the master of authentication yourself unless you're super technical. I would really just say lean into the folks that you know in your world who can do that for you. It's a standard thing you got to do, but you don't want to overcomplicate things, right? So I think that's where, any questions you have, don't try to kind of just teach it to yourself, just really get going. But yeah, I would say those two main forms you want to focus on are SPF and DKIM.